Okay, so we're going to dive into a really simple story about a dragonfly and a beetle. But don't let its charm fool you. This isn't just some kid's tale. It's actually a master class in how you build a really powerful, memorable lesson piece by piece.
So, our story kicks off in a sunny meadow, and we meet our first character, Daphne the Dragonfly. Her entire identity, her whole deal is speed. She zips, she darts, she's built around being faster than absolutely everyone else.
And then we meet her neighbor, Barnaby the stag beetle. And he is everything Daphne is not. He's big, he's slow, and his defining feature is this quiet, impressive strength. You can see the contrast right away, and that's totally intentional.
And bam, right away we see the conflict. Daphne sees Barnaby doing his slow, methodical work, and she just can't resist taking a little jab. Her speed has made her pretty arrogant, and she sees his deliberate pace as, well, a flaw.
So when Barnaby tries to explain his philosophy, she just shuts it down. Slow and steady, that is so boring. For Daphne, if a quality isn't about speed, it's basically worthless. This one line just perfectly sums up her entire worldview and really sets the stage for the lesson she's about to learn.
And then everything changes. A sudden storm hits the meadow, and in a flash, Daphne's greatest asset, her light, swift wings, becomes her biggest liability. They're soaked, they're heavy, they're completely useless. She's stuck, helpless. So who comes to the rescue? You guessed it, Barnaby, of course. His slow, steady strength, the very thing Daphne was just making fun of, is now the only thing that can save her. He doesn't need speed. He needs power and patience to move that heavy branch and get her to safety.
So the story wraps up, Daphne learns her lesson, and all is well. But this isn't just a simple fable, is it? Nope. It's actually a very carefully constructed educational tool. So let's start peeling back the layers and see how this thing is really designed to teach us something.
We're going to deconstruct this whole narrative and look at the blueprint, and you're going to see that every single part of this story, from the specific words they chose to the characters' actions, it's all part of a very deliberate teaching strategy.
And check out where the lesson begins. Before you get into anything else, it makes sure you understand the fundamental building blocks, the vocabulary. Words like swift, transparent, and arrogance aren't just there for decoration. They are the absolute keys to understanding who these characters are and why they do what they do.
Okay, next up is the engine of the entire story, the character clash. Fables work so well because they pit two opposing ideas against each other, and they do it through these simple, memorable characters.
This is where that clash becomes crystal clear. I mean, when you lay it all out in a simple chart like this, you see it instantly. Daphne's strength is her speed, but her fatal flaw is her arrogance. Barnaby's strength is, well, strength, and his personality is patience. Their weaknesses are literally the flip side of their strengths, and that direct comparison is what creates all the tension and pushes the story forward.
And all of this buildup leads to the most important part of any fable, the payoff. This is the whole point, the entire reason the story exists, to deliver a powerful, memorable moral. But here's the clever part. The lesson doesn't just hand you the moral, it gives you options. Is the point just, be nice? Or is it that being strong is always better than being fast? Or is it something a little more complex? By giving you choices, it forces you to stop and think critically about what the story was really trying to say.
And here we have it. The correct moral isn't just a simple summary, it's a resolution. It directly answers the central conflict between Daphne and Barnaby. It doesn't say that speed is bad, but it does say that slow, steady strength can actually be more valuable, especially when you pair it with helpfulness. It's a surprisingly sophisticated takeaway. But wait, we're not done yet. The final step is to go from just understanding the story to actually applying its logic. And this, right here, is where the learning gets really interesting. So the worksheet hits you with this fantastic strategic question. Okay, knowing what you know now about their strengths and their weaknesses, how would you get them to work together? This isn't about who's better anymore. It's about how you can combine their very different skills to achieve a shared goal. And the solution, of course, is all about collaboration. Daphne's speed is perfect for scouting and quickly grabbing all the light materials. Barnaby's strength is absolutely essential for the heavy lifting and the actual construction. Suddenly, their opposing traits aren't a source of conflict anymore. They're complementary assets.
So after breaking all that down, let's zoom out for a second. Why has this type of story, the fable, been such a powerful teaching tool for literally thousands of years?
Here's the big takeaway.
Our brains are just wired for stories. And that's why these simple fables are such sophisticated little engines for teaching. They take these big, complex ideas about things like strategy and wisdom, and they anchor them to characters you won't forget. It's more than just efficient communication. It's like a cognitive shortcut to understanding. And that leaves us with one final thing to think about. The dragonfly and the beetle taught us about the value of different kinds of strength. So I'll ask you, what's the most powerful lesson a simple story ever taught you?